My name is Eileen Hull, and I'm here today to share my January release and also how to assemble one of the dies that is included in that release. The first two dies are called the embroidery hoop and the needle book, and these are both ScoreBoards dies, which means they are meant to be used with thick material like mat board, chipboard, so you get a nice sturdy project. And then here is the final die, and this is the one I'm going to do the assembly video for. It looks a little complicated, but it really is not hard at all. And you are going to love this little heirloom piece that you make. You can store all kinds of different things in it. You could obviously use sewing supplies, your needles, floss, buttons, gadgets, or things that you want to keep track of. But you could also store hair bands, barrettes, things like that for little girls' hair or your hair, clips. You could put desk supplies in it and have it all in one place and be so cute to open and close to get at when you want it. In here, they've added a little pin cushion on the top. That's a fun little addition. But you can use this for all different kinds of things, and you can also use these drawers and pieces, and I'll show you a little later some of the things that I've made and my team has made out of this die that is not what you would expect. It's not a little sewing box. It's something totally different. So that is the beauty of these dies. They make a great base, and you can obviously add paper to the outside. You could draw on it. You could letter. You could stamp. You could add your stencils. You could do all kinds of different things on the outside of your box. So let's go ahead. I just want to show you how to put this together. Don't be afraid. Come back and watch this a couple times if you have to, but it really is not hard. So I'll show you the die and what it looks like, and I have done a couple things to it. Now, I just cut a box out of mat board, so you see these little white holes in here. And you don't want to let those accumulate because they will, after a while, kind of jam up your die. There is rubber inside, but what I've done is added little pieces of foam, and that helps the little holes to eject. If you have to, you can pick them out with your die pick. I let them go about every 2 times, and then I pick these little pieces out. Sometimes they pop out, sometimes they don't, but don't let them collect is all I want to say. Okay, so you can do this when you're watching a video or something. So there are a lot of holes on here, but in order for the die to go together like I wanted, that's how it works. I did model this after a cantilever box that my grandmother had. It was one of those wooden ones where it's tiered and they fold out, and it was somewhat of a challenge for me to get this to work, but I'm really proud of this die. And this actually is one of the ones that my people in my group have requested over and over to bring back. This die originally came out in 2015, and you may be lucky to have gotten it, but if you didn't, now you have another chance to get it. So let's talk about what some of the other things that you're going to need besides the die. You're going to need your extended cutting pads. That's these right here, the longer cutting pads. Just makes it easier to go over it in one pass. You're going to want something sturdy. You could theoretically make this out of paper, but I feel like it would be pretty wimpy. And so I would recommend something that is about 1/16 of an inch thick, and that's what this is, mat board. You could also use chipboard. You can cover it with paper if you want, and the way that I do that is I take double-sided adhesive and I lay that down, peel off the release paper, I add my paper with the right side facing, and then I turn it over, and then I cut, and that will give you a nice paper-covered little cantilever sewing box. Okay, so let me just tell you the number of pieces that you need. These here are the hinges, and you're going to need 4 sets of them. This is the bottom or the base of the box, And that's kind of optional. You don't have to add that, but you can, and then I'll raise it up a little, make it look more like the sewing box. So you need 2 of those. You need 2 of these lids. They will go on the top layer of the cantilever box. And you're going to need 6 of these, and these are the actual little drawers. Oh, sorry, I didn't get all the gesso off my hands. You're going to need 6 of those to complete your 3-tiered sewing box. I keep going like that, sorry. Here is a piece of mat board. I'm just going to make this out of white so it goes quicker. I'm not going to do anything extra. Here is my piece of mat board. This measures 13 inches, so you can get 3 of these if you're really careful. You'll have 2 by cutting it twice, and then if you cut, you can get 3 more, and then you'll have another piece. I cut off my scraps and I lay them down here, and I can use them for additional sets of the hinges. So you have one here, and then you have an extra little piece. You have plenty of room to cut your extra hinges. You know, use your mat board wisely, conserve it, but you can get one of these done with 3.5 sheets of mat board, okay? So let's go ahead and cut one. All right, so what I'm going to do is just lay my mat board down on my die, and I'm laying it just above here so that if there's any extra, it will be all in one piece, and I will have it right there, okay? Then I'm going to make my sandwich. I'm going to have one long cutting pad here. I have my die, my material, and then another cutting pad on top. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so now we have everything cut. I've got 6 of my little boxes, 2 lids, 2 legs. I have 8 of the smaller hinges and 4 of the larger. So let's go ahead and put a box together. And let's put these over here because we don't need them yet. And here are a couple things that you're going to need to put these boxes together. You're going to need either a rubber band or a hair band or some elastic type thing to hold this in place while you put your box together. You're going to need adhesive. I like to use zip dry glue. You could use what you have and it probably will work fine. You're going to need 36 brads. And that's including 4 that you're filling in like a spacer kind of thing. Okay, so let's put the box together. Normally what I do is I lay this on the edge of a table, but this one is really small enough that you are able to bend over these score lines by hand. And the die very nicely punched out all the holes and added the scoring line so you know exactly where to fold. Now I do go ahead and fold them all the way over because that breaks the fibers and it makes it easier to manipulate. You're going to take one of your hair bands or an elastic or whatever you have hanging around on your desk that will hold this together and just kind of form that into a box. You know, now the reason that I did not add tabs is because tabs add bulk, and I didn't want that for this particular project. So that's why it goes together differently. Normally there would be like a little tab and you would fold it under and glue it in, but I don't think we need it for this project. So the next thing we're going to do is get some glue. I like to use zip dry for this. I don't know why. I have not tried the art glitter glue. It probably works fine, but I like this because it dries clear, number one, and also it is a little more substantial and it just seems like it would hold it together better. I don't know, it's just me. And then I just go down my edge and I'm just adding a little line of glue in here. Very easy and quick. In each of the 4 corners, and I go back and forth a couple times. You don't want too much, but you want enough so that it grabs on both sides. Now there are other ways that you can assemble this, And one of them would be if you were to add just a strip of paper. You know, this is an inch high, so you could just cut a big strip like from 12 by 12 paper and wrap it around. Now, the only thing is you don't want to cover these holes, but you could re-poke them. It would be kind of a pain. The other thing that you could do is you could take a piece of washi tape, thin washi tape, and just run it around the top. That would work fine. So, however you decide you want to put this together is good, but you will need to go ahead and make 6 of them. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now there's one other piece that I like to cut. It does not come on the die because I didn't have room for it, but it's a piece of mat board, and that's going to give stability to the base of your project. You just need a piece that is 2 inches by 6 inches. So that's basically a piece of mat board cut at 2 inches, and that's going to sit on the bottom of both of your boxes and be the foundation for your cantilever. I do recommend that you add this additional step. So what I did is I got out my trimmer and I just marked off 2 inches, and I'm going to put that in my trimmer and I'm going to cut. And I took a couple passes with it, just going lightly. You know, this is the Sizzix trimmer, but you could use whatever you have. And there you have your piece of 2 by 6 inch board, which will be really helpful in making a sturdy sewing box. Okay, I think we're ready to put it together. All right, here are my little boxes. So we're going to do one at a time, our little cantilevers. So that means we need 3. So I'm going to take off my rubber bands. I let that sit, the glue, about maybe 5 minutes. It dries pretty quickly. So I just keep these on hand, and anytime I want to make my boxes, I just assemble them quickly, and I try to have a couple extras on hand just because they work really cute singly too. You just make this and a little lid, and you've got a cute little jewelry box or anything you want to put in here, storage-wise. So we'll do that in a minute. Here's my base. So basically what's going to happen is these are going to sit on top. These are going to go here. And that's going to be your box, and then they'll fold out like that. So let's do one at a time. Now this is where the hinges come in. And like I said, you should have 4 of the big ones and 8 of the little ones. Just drop my pencil. And what we're going to do is put these together. So you can kind of look at them, make sure they stack evenly. And I just kind of start assembling. The first one is going to be a small. The second one will be the large. And the third one will be the small again. And that is basically it. Now I added my brads in here just to complete it, but you don't need them. They don't do anything. They're just kind of decorative. But what I do is I start with the first box and I do both sides. So I'm going to do one brad in here, and you just open it up, and that's it. So that's a small and a large. I'm going to put that in here. Open that up. It doesn't matter which way these go, really. Just make sure they're flat. So you might have to move them around inside a little bit. And that's fine. And then you're going to turn this around. I keep them sticking up so I know which way they're supposed to go. And you just put your other brads in. So here's our first one. Now, the reason that I'm doing it this way is it's a lot easier to work single layers at a time. It's a little tricky if you lay them all out and then you're trying to do them all inside. They're moving. But they just keep lining up. You will need to have a lot of brads on hand, I will say that. Okay, so we are done with one side. Now, you could even just leave this on your desk the way it is. It's really cute. You could hold nice little paper clips, or you can hold brads in it. You can hold buttons, whatever you want. If you wanted to add a lid, you could be done right now. But no, you want to keep going because you want this cool sewing box. It's so much fun to do them both together. I did want to say though, if you wanted to go ahead and build a 4-tiered one, you could do that simply by cutting 4 and then just adding an extra long one, and that would give you 4 layers, okay? You could also, if you want, just do 2. Just use your 2 little small ones. So be creative and see what you want to make with this. Any configuration you want. I also have some really fun other projects to share once we get going in January. As you can see, there are 3 holes in each box. Times 3 is 9, and you have one side, 2 sides, so that's 18 times 2, because you're going to do this, is 36 brads. That's a good number of brads. So these come in a pack of, was it 50? There are 100. So you can get 2 out of 1 pack of brads. Now, if you want, you can add brads in here to just kind of fill the hole. I like to do that. It just looks more finished to me. And then you would just, you know, put that in there and it just doesn't do anything, but it looks cute. So I am going to go ahead and do that. And if you didn't do it in the beginning, it's not a big deal to add that because it's on the end of the box here. So you would just add it front and back. Okay. So that will come out to your 36 brads. So we're going to go ahead and basically do the same thing again. So we have 2 sides to our sewing box. Okay, we have our boxes put together. Hallelujah. Okay, that took a little while, but it's so cute. All right, so let's take our base piece and we're gonna finish this off. Let's put our brads. If you use these larger brads, they will hold the box more steadily, more rigidly. They're pretty big though, so it depends on what you want to do. If you want this to be able to actually stand up and, you know, stay like this, it's not bad. but after a while these get loose and it will kind of, you know, slump over a little bit. But and also it depends on the weight of the things that you put in there. If you're putting heavy items, you may want to use these wider, stronger brads because they will get better grip. Okay, so the last two things we want to do is we want to install this on the base here. Again, this is 2 by 6 inches. And what we're going to do is just place these on here because we want them to stay nice and sturdy. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm just going to glue this on. And that should keep us in business here. Again, you could use something like, I cannot grip things today. You could use like a piece of paper or a piece of chipboard or something like that. You don't have to use mat board, but I think it just looks nicer. And plus, all you have to do is cut a 2-inch strip off a piece of the mat board that you get in your pack. So in total, this project takes 4 sheets of mat board to make one of these little boxes. Okay, so I would just maybe set that down and put something on top that will weight it and make sure that, you know, these are tucked in close to each other like that. Okay, and maybe I would let that sit for a minute. So the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to add these little flaps. So you're going to fold over on the score lines, and also you're going to put your base, so fold over on all of these score lines, and then we're going to glue these on. It really is easy, you can see, and it's so impressive, I have to say. So all you're going to do is line these up, and then these are going to go on the bottom like this. Okay, so you're just going to run a line of glue again. I don't know why I closed that up. Down the backs of these. And I do also like this glue because you have a little bit of wiggle room. You want this part facing out. So just line that up on the side and press. And just kind of center that on your base. And then we'll do the other one. Okay, I would recommend that you use the double-sided tape like this to do the bottoms because they were being uncooperative, and I did eventually get them to work, but I would say if you don't want to mess with it, just use the double-sided tape. Just as good. Okay, that's going to make it stick. Now, instead of using these feet that come with the die, you could also use like little spools or other pieces to put down here. They would be cute. So go ahead and go crazy with whatever you have on hand. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our hinged lids. Now, these can go either direction. You can open them up this way. You know, can't resist. Or you could put them so that they close in the middle. Whichever you want to do. And all I would do in that case is add adhesive here. So I'm just going to add some glue using my little tool here. This gives a nice strong bond. I'm going to put mine on the end. I don't know why, but I usually do that. And then you could also add clips in here if you want to make sure that they stick. But I think the pressure should be fine if you just want to press down with your hand. Make sure it has good contact and then let it sit. That's fine. Or you could use the tape. Let's do this one with tape. We'll see what one we like better. Now this you have to be pretty spot on, but it sticks right away, okay? I think either work well. So you could, there are a couple ways you can finish this if you want to keep it closed. You could add a hitch fastener here and here and a little elastic so they stay closed. Or if you had them the other way, put the elastic here and put it over the hitch fastener. The other thing that I saw Amy Powers do is she added a little tab here so it tucked in and kept it, you know, seated in the box. So I think this is just adorable, and you could paint it, you could do whatever you want to this, hold all of your fun little accessories, and if you wanted you could also line this, or I would recommend maybe a line of washi tape along here. Those will keep your brads, you know, flat, and it will prevent things from catching on them. Here is our finished little cantilever sewing box. Can't stop doing it, guys. You're gonna love it. What would you put in there? Let me know in the comments. All right, guys, there's your assembly video. Don't forget to watch on Facebook. We're going to be doing more videos showing alternate ways of things that you can do with the little drawers, like maybe this. Come back and see. We go live Tuesdays at 6 Eastern and Thursdays at 4. And you will see lots of ways to use this die, okay? We'd also love if you would join the Eileen Hull Fan Club Facebook group. We have 8,000 members and growing every day. So we hope you'll join us, and thanks so much for watching. See you next time.